Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gabrielle Jones.
I'm Lanisha Porter.
I'm McLean Shutt.
I'm Ashley Byram. Finally.
I'm Abby Jacobs.
And I'm Caroline Schoenberger.
Our mentor, John Fleming, is in the back, and we are Team Hope. We were serving the West End Business Association. Team Hope stands for helping organizations prepare for excellence, and that's exactly what we set out to do. We've all seen or had a lemonade stand, so I want you to close your eyes and picture something with me. Imagine taking your childhood lemonade stand and in one weekend making $30,000. I want to introduce you to the AmeriCorps Company. This is a group of young entrepreneurs from Louisville's West End who did just that, and they are not alone. Businesses in the West End are doing great things every day, and this is despite the structural and historic economic barriers based in racism, classism, and other isms that plague our community and our world. But we have a solution to that. Meet the West End Business Association. The West End Business Association wants to create a Louisville where no matter where you live, you have equal opportunity to make your business successful. Through teaching, training, adding opportunities to capital and other resources, teaching businesses about marketing and building networks, WEBA, affectionately known, wants to create a world where these barriers don't exist. We know that there's a great need for this in our community and beyond. According to the US Census Bureau, 8 out of every 10 Black businesses closes within the first 18 months. So our work with WEBA was all about creating more companies like AmeriCorps, where regardless of where you're based in Louisville, East End, West End, South End, or downtown, every entrepreneur has the opportunity to take lemons and make $30,000 worth of lemonade. So let's talk about why we worked with WEBA to do that.
We chose WEBA through a system of ranking and really evaluating organizations' causes that meant a lot to us. WEBA is really focused on bridging the gap that has historically kept businesses socially isolated and locked out of opportunities to build generational wealth. Also, you can see here that the historic West End encapsulates these territories here, and they're focused on promoting economic growth in Louisville's West End. The West End has been home to historic businesses such as Piggly Wiggly, the Shawnee Theater, and First Standard Bank.
Initially, when meeting with WEBA, they had some opening asks, like what they wanted: partnerships, launch event, website, fundraising, and grants, all ultimately leading to an executive director. So when we first started really kicking off the work, it was just about building rapport, right? Kind of getting to know them, understanding their communication cadence and meeting schedule. And that just led us to gathering the information and documents that we would need. So we were reviewing potential deliverables for our project with them. We quickly realized that there was an overflow of potential deliverables and also the mountains of documentation and information. So knowing this, we knew that we were going to have to refine our time together. So during the Innovation Day, we also learned the importance of product development and a product roadmap. So we used the problem statement worksheet, and we were able to gather our thoughts and create a clearer, more concise path for our project with WEBA. We also met John, our Encore mentor, and he proposed 2 questions to us. What does success look like to us? And then what product or service does WEBA provide? So this is when we really realized we needed to come back together and have a deep dive product development session with WEBA, that way so we could understand what they were looking for and how they could fit into the environment in the West End. That's when we went back to the drawing board and planned a brainstorming session with them. So 2 hours long, and it gave us a chance to talk about some of our newly discussed strategies from Innovation Day and to discuss the deliverables that they were looking for in the project. We knew while the original asks were important, but in order to accomplish this new set of deliverables, that we were going to have to divide our work into 3 buckets: organizational foundation, marketing, and then physical location. Thinking back to our day on Fort Knox and then our PI assessments, personal and professional strengths, that's when we divided up and how we divided our group and work.
I'm Ashley and I worked with Gabrielle on the foundation sub-team. After our brainstorming session with WEBA, it was clear that they needed a stronger structural foundation. Early on, we ran into an unexpected challenge, or like we say, opportunity with the group. They listed a $150,000 operational budget on their Ignite application. Through the session and combing documents, we found out they actually had a $0 operating budget, which we knew went along with no staff. Our team embraced this challenge and helped WEBA develop a more realistic operating budget of anticipated revenues and expenses. During Inclusive Leadership Day, we learned strategies to have critical conversations. This helped Gabrielle and I shift them away from one of their initial asks, which was grant funding to fully support an executive director, which is not realistic, practical, or sustainable. As a functional communicator, I had the perfect tool, a grant readiness assessment. Gabrielle and I walked them through a 1.5-hour workshop outlining every aspect that goes to a grant application and what makes organizations competitive to external funders. They did not have most of this in place. From here, this led us to create an actual org structure for the board members. Again, they have no executive director. We divided the work into the typical buckets you would see in a nonprofit, with marketing and communications, programming, membership, fundraising and development, and community outreach. To go along with this, I created 9 job descriptions outlining clear roles and responsibilities for each and a giving expectation for board members. To go along with this, I created a 1-pager outlining how donors can give and volunteers can get involved, and letter templates for them to solicit external support and also thank donors, which goes along with our marketing.
Actually, so I was joined by Abby and Lanisha, and I'm Whitney on the marketing sub-team. So when we met with WEBA, they had some material that was available. We met with them, walked through these documents, but we were missing the story. And on communication day, we learned that the story is the true way to draw people in. Then during our Brown-Forman branding day, it was like a light bulb went off, and we decided that we needed to have a brand strategy workshop to really understand the value that they brought and what was the story they wanted to tell, how did they want to be portrayed in the community. And so we did exactly that. To bring the brand strategy to life, we developed a guideline workbook for them that had a style guide, many different logo options for them to choose. And then we took these materials and have embedded them in all of the assets we've created to help market this group.
Thank you, Whitney. Whitney worked with Wix website to help us take existing collateral that WEBA had and publish it into a website that had great searchability. This website is published as www.webalouisville.org. Here it warehouses information that is helpful to business owners, such as membership applications and also calendar updates. All right, we all know social media can be a bit intimidating. So I was able to create a starter kit for digital platforms that can be shared across social media platforms so that followers can know how to stay updated with WEBA and to know what's coming next.
Thank you. And one ask from WEBA was to refresh and recreate some new print materials for their organization. So our main focus was the brochure, and it's a 6-panel brochure. It's a highly useful tool, so we can use it to share both electronically and in print. Whitney and myself worked and transformed the brochure layout and the messaging alongside Lanisha, who added her beautiful finishing touches. The brochure mainly covers WEBA's mission, a summary of the membership benefits and costs, and an overview of Louisville West End history. We were also able to create additional marketing collaterals that included business cards, postcard invitations, and t-shirts. We are very proud that they can use these to connect in the community. And that leads us to our final subgroup, which is our physical space.
Hi, I'm Caroline, and I was joined by McLean and Abby, and we made up the physical space sub-team. So on our discovery day, we had uncovered that actually one of their co-chairs, Cyprian, had donated space to the organization. But due to a $0 budget, they had been unable to furnish the space to create a headquarters for WEBA. So the first thing that we had to do was go visit the space to see what we were working with. We uncovered our deliverables that we uncovered were very straightforward from the beginning. We wanted to refresh the walls and clean the whole space up. We wanted to find furniture and, most importantly to the organization, technology. So we really leaned into our personal networks and donation opportunities through different organizations to help create a space for them to host events, trainings, and then hopefully one day an office for an executive director.
Yeah, so during the branding day at Brown-Forman, we all learned how important it was to exploit our networks and community connections when you're growing your brand and your business. So that's what we did. We turned all of our energy into our own networks and our own connections to see what we could provide. So like Caroline said, we were looking for paint, furniture, or technology. And we set out to find, the important pieces that could help us to transform the space. So after some initial grinding through the networks, I was able to secure paint and supplies to actually start the process. And then Abby had a hot lead on some potential furniture.
Yeah, and thank you. I was able to secure a lot of the office furniture from my employer. And we put in nearly 90 hours of sweat equity we cleaned the entire space, we painted it, outfitted it, decorated it, made it brand new. And usually, like after we got the equipment, about 3 weeks later, we had to move everything over there. So with Caroline and her connections in the hotel industry, we were able to seamlessly move that equipment from Linden to downtown. And also we spent about 3 hours that day getting everything moved in, and it went very seamlessly. Team Hope was extremely successful in creating a fresh community headquarters space for WEBA and setting them up for success in the future. We absolutely transformed their empty space and put them on the map. A few big ticket items that we did secure for the donation were desk chairs, waiting room chairs, a large whiteboard. We have training tables that you can make a conference table or use at a desk. And thanks to Ashley, their biggest ask was a desktop computer. So we were able to secure that as well. Overall, Team Hope was able to secure a donation value of over $11,000. We're very proud as a team for what we have done to help WEBA.
So now how will this help WEBA going forward? First of all, through the foundation work, WEBA now has connections with external agencies like Louisville Metro Revenue Commission, who's offered to provide trainings in the community and attend the launch event. The new suite of marketing materials, the branding guide alone is valued at $1,500 to guide their materials going forward and will really make a name for them in this community. And then now they have a sustainable space to host events and training opportunities and a place for the community to come and enjoy together.
And this is not the end of our involvement with WEBA. Ashley and I have drafted a community survey that they plan to deploy to business owners to help them generate ideas for programming exactly what the needs of West End business owners are. We are all planning to help them with a launch event later this summer or this spring. And we've all been continuing to connect them to potential board members to fill those roles that we outlined for them. McLean in particular is very involved with YPAL, and we're looking at connecting them with entrepreneurs through that organization. We'll also help them to continue to pursue funding opportunities. Ashley is helping them with the Louisville Forward application, and we'd like to connect them with the On-Tour team at the recommendation of John, our mentor. This is the perfect time for investment in West End businesses. We know from the Norton Hospital to the Goodwill campus, things are going up there, but we need to correct the inequities of the past, and we hope to help WEBA continue to do that. Thank you.
I guess I was curious that you said that they presented to, I guess, Ignite Louisville, that they had a $150,000 budget.
Yes.
It's pretty dramatic to go from $150,000 to nothing.
Yeah.
Working with them and getting to know them, Ashley and I in particular worked on this line item, and it really seemed as though they took the question as like, what should operations look like, right? What it was aspirational for them. Right? And so, yeah, so when we dug into it, we realized that what they were outlining is how the organization would function optimally in their hopes and dreams, as opposed to sort of like money that we actually had and expenses that we actually had in this moment.
So we had to dial it back to, okay, if you're a startup, what does this look like?
I guess my question was, you showed a group of people early on. And there was not someone who was the executive director of the organization.
They have no executive.
They have no one.
They have no executive.
Yes, so they had been functioning with that great group of people who were very dedicated and cared very much about what's happening in the West End and this mission to help businesses. But these are all very busy professionals with other issues and opportunities in their life. And really what they needed was a working board and some distribution of work. So Ashley and I worked together to really define those other board roles for them, and are now helping them recruit and slot people into those board roles. So they have a working board to support like the dedication of these team members. I'll also say, like, not to toot our own horn, but I think just having the opportunity to participate with Ignite and having a group of people who wanted to help them also helps to get this group of people a little more engaged than they were previously, it seems like.
Are they seeing, this is great, are they seeing any traction on businesses signing up or folks getting involved?
We're really just in the startup phase. They don't have really even enough programming to be ready to launch off into the stratosphere with that. But where we are getting a lot of traction is with partnerships to start building that up. So that partnership with the revenue department to start launching some workshops. So they'll start using that as a means to bring businesses in to attend the free workshop and invite them on to stay on for membership. We're helping them with this Louisville Forward application for some additional funding that they can use for programming. So it's sort of like we have everything right there. We just kind of got to get that programming seed in place, ready to help them launch.
Not having that kind of one decision maker, that one contact at the organization, how did you all navigate that? Was that difficult? I know you have, you mentioned everyone is very dedicated, to the organization, those folks on the board, but how did that go for you all, not having kind of that one decision maker that you knew you could count on and who's kind of getting paid to work with you all?
Well, the organization kind of had two people, Cyprian and Ann, who were like the most involved and the leaders by influence of sorts. It was difficult as we went through the process to sort of get them to have group votes and make decisions. Often there wasn't a quorum at meetings and things like that, but we were sort of, as we started to build more momentum and create more things to them to react to, they kind of rallied around and pushed themselves to like be present and make those final decisions.
And I was gonna add, one of the things they did as a result of this work, the board formed an executive committee to make some key decisions, since they were struggling to get enough members to the table.
It was challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
You needed words.
So we made it happen.
That's right.
So we've got about a minute left, judges, if you have any additional questions.
Thank you.